Hi guys, welcome back to Just Railroading. My name's Charlie. Let's see what we got on the workbench today. Alright guys, so today we're going to be working on something that's kind of special to me. It's just your ordinary run-of-the-mill 2016 Lionel, but this was my very first Lionel as far as not really old, but what do you call it? Pre-war, I guess, or post-war. Sorry, it's my first post-war 264 locomotive, and I really thought this thing was something when I got it. Now the story on this engine, the only reason why I've got it in here, going to work on it, is cosmetic. I repainted this thing, and can't really see it too good because of the lighting, but yeah, now you can see it. Okay. You can see where I taped around the 2016, and you know, I did that on both sides. But the reason I repainted it, there's two reasons. Number one, it needed it, and number two, it had already been repainted. So someone had painted this thing, I want to say it was like a green color with a brush, and you can still see it, like you can see the paint is just ugly underneath of there. But all the details are gone, like all the rivet details, you know, that nothing's crisp anymore. Everything's just kind of peeled up. More paint's been put on top of that, then that's peeled up, then I put my paint on top of it. And I had to clean all this stuff up and get all the paint off because they painted everything. I did this probably back in like 2012, 2013, something like that. Probably longer than that, actually. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a long time. But I redone it. But it's time to actually do it nice. I'm actually working on two right now. I'm working on this one, and then I've got this one over here. This one was in really bad shape. It was eat up, corroded in the front. You can kind of see it in the light, so it's pretty ugly. The paint actually looks pretty nice on it, but the decals, that one looks good, but that one didn't come out so hot. So again, I did this one a long time ago too, so I really don't consider these two screw ups on my part that I painted them, because this one was already ruined. That one was pretty well shot as far as the finish, because they had pitting all over it. And I'm going to try to mix up some filler and do some body work on this one to bring it back. I did order decals for both of these, and so they should be here soon, I hope. And that's the front pilot for this one. But this is the main topic of the video, so I'm just going to go through it, clean it up real good, clean the brushes, resurface it, polish the drive rods out. You know, just give it a good detailing, because I think that's what it needs, good detailing. And they even painted the freaking wheels, and I brush painted those black with apple barrel paint, just water-based paint. I might go back and try to fix that, I don't know, or at least touch it up with some shoe shine polish if I can. Try to bring the shine back out on those, because they're pretty rough looking. But it's not in bad shape. Like, I mean, everything was, you know, it was a really nice engine when I got it, but it was just painted, like, you know, everything. Like I said, they painted everything. But I'm gonna get started. I am gonna put this in ultrasonic cleaner, blow all the old paint off, hopefully get everything back down to the, at least not original, but back down to bare cast, I hope. So let's get started. Alright, so I couldn't get this thing took apart. I got the ultrasonic cleaner warming up. If anybody has never took one of these apart, it's pretty simple. there's a pin that runs right through here. You can kind of see it sticking out there and there. One end is tapered, or not tapered, knurled. One end's knurled, and one end's just smooth. So you gotta knock it out through the smooth side. You just get your little punch, kind of like this. Small little hammer. And you're basically just gonna take it here on this thing and just tap it out. There we go. And sometimes you got to pull it out with pliers, because it'll get a little stuck. There we go. First piece. Then, like any others, you just got to take your drive rods off. I don't know why, but you can actually pull these off without having to take the things off. Now the rest of them let you do it. Take your back wheels off. Take your front wheels off. That's your headlight bulb assembly. And then you just got to pull your, you don't have to, but I'm going to. Pull your front pilot and steam chest off. Just like that. Then flip him over. Got one Phillips head screw right there. Oops. That's what holds your motor in. There it is. Complete motor assembly. I am gonna try to put a smoke unit on this. This is off the other one I'm working on. They're identical. If you look and see that right there, that hole there is that hole for that smoke unit. And that wire just runs up and hooks here. And in fact, the shell's already got provisions for the little puffer to set in there. So it's just going to be a simple swap, or not really swap because I'm not taking that one, but install. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I got a smoke unit ordered, but I don't have the puffer. I'm going to have to make the puffer. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I think I can do it. Now that I've got that motor out, I'm going to go ahead and strip this shell down, pull the whistle, knock the lens out, pull these things off, and it will be ready for the ultrasonic cleaner. Alright guys, I got that shell cooking in the ultrasonic cleaner. I've had it running for about maybe 4 hours in there. So that's, what, 8 30-minute cycles. I did it a couple times with Simple Green, and then now I'm doing it with the ultrasonic cleaner. Cleaning powders. That paint is stubborn. I'm telling you, it is stubborn. I went through, got the layers. Of course, originally it come out black, and then they painted it either silver in spots, or they painted the whole thing silver. I don't know. And then they painted the roof red, and then they painted the rest of it green, and then they painted the whole thing green. So they painted it up kind of like a southern at one time in its life. And then, of course, when I got it, I painted it back black. So that poor locomotive has had, what is that, 4 paint jobs? Yeah, it's had 4 paint jobs. That's pretty wild. But while it's doing that, I'll show you guys when it comes out. But before we go ahead and work on the motor, pull it apart, clean the brushes, you know, the usual stuff. I can already see I did something here with tape. I must have had to cover something. I don't know why I did that, but there's electrical tape. I've also had this apart, apparently. I ain't no telling what I did. I did some stupid stuff. Just trying to, you know, fix things. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to clean them grooves out on that winding. That is for sure. I mentioned this in an old video, but I used to soak the brushes in freaking oil. I don't know why I did that, but I'd soak it in oil. So all the brushes that I have are pretty much oil contaminated and everything. So, you know, that's just what I did for some reason. I did it because it took the black stuff off. Then it put the black stuff right back on. Cut down on friction too. But, you know, that's just what you do when you're 13 years old. I was going to put a smoke unit on this thing, but I cannot get or find the little puffer thing that goes into the frame. Can't find one of those nowhere. If anyone out there knows a good website that would happen to have one of those for sale new, let me know, because I would like to find one and put smoke on this. Because it has the ability to have smoke. I don't think this locomotive was run a lot. I think it's still in pretty decent shape as far as the wear. use that cotter pin trick now. Oops. Alright, there's the brushes put back. Give about a little dot of oil. There we go. Give this side a little dot of oil too. Put on that gear. Put on that gear. Put a little bit behind the gears. Trying to spill my alcohol. Okay. Put a little grease on everything. Alright, there we go. That motor is now serviced. One more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these drive rods off because I want to polish them. And I'm just going to take the shoe shine brush and see if I can't hide the fact that that's paint. So I'm going to do that and we'll be right back and I'll show you that shell. Alright, so apparently you can't shine up apple barrel paint. Shocker. But this side the paint come off. I had to go back over it with Sharpie marker. Reason it's like that is because the idiots painted the wheels silver. That's what they're supposed to look like, minus the rust. But the idiots painted them silver, and I had to, you know, of course, not having a good way to get that paint off, and still not having a good way to get the paint off without putting the whole motor in the ultrasonic cleaner. I don't really want to do that. You know, it's just how it is sometimes when you're working with something someone else has already screwed up. But I think my shell just quit cooking, so I'm going to go in the house, wash that off, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright guys, so I've run this thing in there. It's still got paint on it. But luckily it's on the spots you won't really see it. Like it's in there. You can kind of see that brown looking stuff, and then inside of there, down in there. But for the most part, all the actual details are back again, so that's good. Now, the reason this was painted, it's not supposed to be painted. It's supposed to actually just be black. But it was painted silver when I got it. Not to mention, you know, I really didn't know that this wasn't supposed to be painted. So, of course, I primed it and painted it with the rest of the shell. there's a shell. It come clean for the most part. I did find a crack right there. That's cracked. I have to glue that back on, but got almost all the paint out of it. Just can't get those little crevices good. I don't know why, but I think that'll have to do. That's, you know, I mean, before you couldn't even see none of that. All that was just covered in paint. It was silver, red, green, and then black. So it's like 3 layers of thick paint. But I'm probably going to run over it with a brass brush just to kind of scuff the surface up a little and take off any corrosion that might be forming on it. And I've got that other shell out there. It's running an ultrasonic. I'm going to see what it looks like. But I think that'll do for paint. So I'm going to let the water dry out of it probably for a day. And then I'm going to paint it probably tomorrow. But the mail just ran. And I got a package. So let's open it up and see what we got. Alright, so just got this in the mail. I think I know what it is, but we're going to find out. Alright. First mysterious package. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Got the rollers. Wires are still good and tender. That's in really good shape. Just needs a little cleaning. Oops, needs a little cleaning. And of course the busted shell part, so I have to fix that. So, all in all though, it ain't too bad looking. We can definitely fix that. Alright. So we got mysterious container number 2. Oh yeah. Still got the marker lights. That's really, really nice. Really nice. I think someone painted that, but yeah. Yeah, that's been painted before. I don't think they painted anything else on it though. She's a little rough. She's a little rough. But the main thing, main reason why I bought it, is for this shell. I'm wanting to build me a 675. I don't know if this one has magnet traction or not. I'm going to try it and see. I don't think that it does. But, and of course it's got that nice faceplate. So, that's going to be on the list of things to fix up and go through. But let's get back to what we were doing. Alright, so I just got done painting that shell, and it's dry now. Here it is. Don't look half bad. Paint turned out pretty good. I got all that old paint off. I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but this thing had like 3 or 4 layers of paint. It had, of course, the factory black, and then sometime either it was painted silver all over, or they painted the roof silver. And then they painted the roof red. The roof was red. And then they painted the rest of the boiler kind of like a sort of a hunter green, kind of. So I'm guessing they painted it up like a southern. And then they painted the whole thing kind of like a mint green with black details. Like I can't remember, but I want to say this was silver when I got it. Silver or black, I can't remember which one. And then that's how it looked when I got it. It was painted that mint color with like silver down here and stuff. And then of course, wasn't much I could do for it, so I painted it black and taped up what was left of the decals. And then, you know, all this detailing, all those rivets and, you know, all that was just non-existent. So it's definitely a lot better than it was. Definitely. Even though it's not original anymore, and it wasn't, you know, when I got it, it's definitely a lot nicer now. I did order some decals. I think I already mentioned that, but they're supposed to be coming today, I hope. But I was doing a little bit of research. 2016s didn't have handrails. And I was looking at this shell, and you can see, like, there's a hole there. There's another hole there, and I think there might be one more. Oh yeah, it's right here. It's on the bottom. You can kind of see it right there on the step plate. They got one on the other side too. But I'm thinking these look like 999 marks handrails. It's got that little kicked up spot right there. That's where you'd have folded it in the cab on the 999. And then you can also see on the bottom here, see how it's all kinked up, where it was bent at one time and it straightened. So I'm pretty sure, because Lionel never uses anything this big. These are pretty thick handrails. I'm going to put them back. If I would have known it, that these didn't have handrails, I would have filled those holes up and just done away with them. But I'm going to put them back on there. I was able to clean this up and save it. I blacked it back out. I couldn't get the paint out of there too good, but I was able to get it out, you know, in the main, what you're going to see, the details. So I'm getting ready to put this thing back together, and I'm going to go ahead and put it back together now. I did order some new marker lights, lenses, or the little green things. I had red ones in there that I got out of some jewelry years ago, and those fell out whenever I cleaned it, and I don't know where they went. So I got me some new green ones. I'm going to put it back to original. But I'm going to go ahead and put the handrails back on and put the headlight lens back in real quick. And then I got to clean up the drive rods and put all that stuff back together. So I will come back when we're ready to put the motor back in. Alright, so I got my drive rods all polished up, so they look pretty good. Got the handrails put back on, got the headlight put back in, bell on. Everything's all clean, so now we're going to set this motor back in place. Motor's pretty simple how it sets in there. It's got that, of course, it's got the thread end, and then you got the E unit part. And these wires. that. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. And we got this pen. Now one end of this pen is sort of knurled, or it's got raised, and then the other end's smooth. What you want to do on your shelf, one side should have those grooves and one side won't. I believe it's this way. Just gonna start it in there. Get your motor in place where it needs to go. There we go. And then get you a little hammer. Might even have to use a punch. I think I might have to use a punch. You also got to line it up into a hole as you're doing that. Let's see. There we go. All right. Ooh, dang it, went too far. Shoot. Mine has had the heck wore out of it too, because it's been apart so many times. So it's lost its resistance. Alright, let's lay it on this other side here. By the way, I'm still sick. I still ain't got over whatever it was I had a couple videos back, so that's why I'm coughing. Alright, let's see. I apologize for that though. That back together. Alright, there's that. Put that main screw through the top. Okay. Then on the side, put the drive rods on. One of these is just a little bent. Why, I don't know. Of course, no telling. Poor locomotive's been through it. Painted up like a rainbow and then modified. Even these were painted. They painted everything. Anything that they thought needed paint, they painted it. They painted every single bit of the details. Oh, idiots. Wheels were silver. Dang it. Come on. There we go. Little things are finicky to put back. Getting a hole. There we go. Alrighty. There it is. I just got to get my jewels put back in and my decals put on. And this is a done project. Ready to be displayed again. I think it looks pretty good. Even without details. Looks a lot better than it did, that's for sure. Alright guys, so I got it all done now. I got the green jewels in there. You really can't see it too good. And then I put the decals on. I kind of messed up on the other side. I got the 6 a little folded up. But those are actually supposed to be locked in clear coat. And I didn't do that. So I don't know how long they'll last. I'm probably going to, maybe on the next one, do some experimentation. I'm going to try to do a black primer. And then put the clear coat over that black primer. And just see how that looks. But overall, I think it turned out pretty good considering. And you know, I can always redo this in the future. I don't know if it would affect this paint, putting clear coat on it. This is lacquer. So if I used an enamel semi-gloss clear, I don't think it would roll it up. But just to be on the safe side, I am going to paint something else and then do some tests just to see if it would. But for now, I think I'm going to leave it at what you see here. I did put my green emerald in. I think I already said that. But anyway, let's go see what this thing will do. And let's pull some cars with it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So if you guys saw that I got that box with that engine and tender and stuff like that in it in this video. The 675. The guy actually sent me the wrong engine. Sent me the wrong engine, sent me the wrong tender. So that's why the engine looks so rough, and that's why the tender fell apart, basically. And, you know, it pissed me off a little bit. You know, I got mad because I felt like I had got scammed. You know, I paid a good bit for that stuff. It wasn't exactly cheap. I got a good deal, but then you throw in shipping and, you know, taxes and all that stuff. It come out to be about $90. Which still isn't too terribly bad for a 675 and a whistle tender. You know, but when I got it and saw how poor condition it was in, knowing in my head that the one that I spent the money on was pretty nice, yeah, it kind of threw me off a little bit. And then the only reason I noticed it wasn't the same engine is because of the trailing truck. It had a 2-wheel trailing truck, the one I got. The one that I paid the money for had a 4-wheel trailing truck. So when I noticed that, I was like, wait a minute, I know for a fact it had 4-wheel trailing trucks, not 2-wheel. So I went up, you know, I went upstairs, looked at the eBay listing, and sure enough, had the 4-wheel trailing truck. Well, then I looked at the tender. Now, I know it wasn't the same tender because you can see the whistle unit from underneath. It's, you know, you can see that plastic where the air comes out. And the one that I bought, the plastic part was blue. The one I got, the plastic part was clear. And the paint on the frame wasn't all that great. The paint on the frame on the one that I got, or one that I paid the money for, was nice and shiny. So right there, you know, I knew it wasn't the same engine, wasn't the same tender. So I reached out to the guy. I'm already thinking, well, he scammed me. You know, I'm not going to get any kind of a message back. We're going to have to go through eBay and try to get our money back and all that stuff. But I was surprised. He sent a message back, said, we're sorry about that. We'll be sending you the correct items in the mail. You can keep the ones that you have for your inconvenience. So I got 2 675s and 2 whistle tenders from his mistake. So that $90 purchase turned out to be a pretty good deal for basically 2 complete locomotives. But I do have a future plan for that 1 675 that I got for free. I'm wanting to put Baldwin drivers. So I'm wanting to do a motor swap on it. Because the wheels on that motor that's on it are cracked up pretty bad. And they're just in pretty bad shape all the way around. And it's in pretty rough condition. It's been kind of pieced together. I think it's a Frankenstein engine. It's just sort of been put together with other pieces. It does have a new faceplate. And new drive rods and new eccentrics. So all that stuff has been replaced. So that's about, $30 worth of parts right there. Or more, really, if you go through eBay. And it does have, it's a complete locomotive. So I'm really looking forward to that build. I'm going to try to see if I can't get me a Baldwin driver motor. There's one on eBay right now I'm trying to bid on, so we'll see if I can actually get that. Fingers crossed. But, anyway, let's get back to what we were doing. Alright guys, so here's the 2016. Got it on the track, got a tender and some cars behind it. And then I've got across from it, that's a train set that I had when I was a little kid. Got it. So, let's see what this thing will do. Oh yeah, and I also put a smoke unit in it now, so it actually has smoke. So it's technically a 2018 now with that, but let's see what it'll do. Alright, as you can see, it runs pretty good. There's something not quite right about it. I've got to figure out. It just keeps shorting out inside, and I'm not really 100% sure if it's the E unit or what exactly it is. It'll run good and it won't. So it's kind of a issue I've been dealing with. It seems like it did that when I was younger too, and I never could figure out why it would do it, and then it would straighten up and run. So it's still, whatever it is, I've got to figure it out. I think it might just be the E unit is shorting inside. So it probably needs either a good rebuild or cleaning, or maybe a whole nother E unit. I don't know yet, but I got to figure that out. But other than that, it runs and looks pretty good. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, see you on the next one. Bye-bye.